Welcome to Social Work Updates. In this video, we are going to talk about the helping process. By Leonora Serafika de Guzman. Number 1. The identification of the presenting problem. The presenting problem is elicited at the very start because this is where data gathering begins. The worker uses the problem as the starting point of his search for vital information to guide the subsequent steps he will take. Sometimes the presenting problem may just be an immediate or precipitating one causing the present difficulty, and a deeper or underlying problem may emerge later, but at least it is something tangible to start with. Knowing the presenting problem enables the worker to start with the present and the relevant, working backwards if and when necessary. Intake. This is where the helping process starts. Whether the client is a walk-in, has been referred, or reached out to as one who needs or could use social services, the process begins with the intake. It is the first contact of the client with a social agency through its representative, the social worker. The major purposes of the intake are to: Number 1. Record identifying data about the client such as name, age, civil status, address, family composition, etc., and the nature of his request. Every agency has an intake sheet or a prescribed form for this purpose. Number 2. Identify the presenting problem, that which is causing the most difficulty, so much so that the client was impelled to ask for help or has been referred. And number 3, determine the client's presumptive eligibility and motivation to use a service. If his need cannot be met, then he is referred or redirected to another agency which can help him. The intake sheet should include a statement of the problem as presented by the client, the interviewer's initial impression as to the nature of the problem, followed by some assessment of the situation, and ends with some recommendation as to what next action should be taken. Next is the data gathering. Data gathering is a critical process because it entails the gathering of comprehensive information about all the dimensions of a problem so that the interaction of its components can be understood. The purpose is to understand and determine the nature of the problem and what resources will be required for it. Data and information may be secured primarily from the client himself, then from the significant people in his life like the members of his immediate family, observation and records, and test reports, studies, and evaluation of various kinds. Data gathering is also an occasion for beginning exploration by attending to the emotional state and immediate concern manifested by the client. Gradually the practitioner broadens the exploration to encompass relevant systems such as individual, interpersonal, and environmental, and explore in a depth aspect of the problem that appears salient. During the process of exploration, the practitioner is also alert to and highlights strengths manifested by the client, realizing that these strengths represent a vital resource to be identified and tapped later during the goal attainment phase. Next is the diagnostic assessment. Essentially, diagnosis is the worker's professional opinion as to the nature of the need or problem which the client presents. The purpose of assessment, on the other hand, is to evaluate the individual's capacity and motivation to use help and his relationship to his family and its environment, or to understand a family or other small group in its social context. It is a means of individualizing the person's situation configuration, and ongoing. Assessment starts at intake, although it is limited to what is necessary to make a tentative decision or some interventive action which is necessary. Assessment should be based on the case study, which starts with the presenting problem. It is, however, a continuous process throughout treatment to guide the worker's interventions at any given time. Assessment takes into account the nature of the problem, the factors that precipitated it, the client's capacities and the extent of his motivation and his strengths to work on the problem. Planning the intervention. Planning the intervention involves goal and specific objective setting and the determination of strategies to be used. Plans may be immediate, near future, or long range. Goal setting. The first step in the planning of the problem resolution is to set up the end goal. A goal is needed to provide direction to the efforts of both the worker and the client. The goal must be related to the problem and stated clearly and precisely, not broadly. Besides the overall or end goal, a series of progressive subsidiary goals is set up to lend focus and direction to the ongoing work at each stage of the helping process. These sub-goals are in reality specific objectives which must be accomplished in order to achieve or reach the goal. As each specific objective is realized, the next one is brought into focus and so on until the end goal is achieved. Clearly stated specific objectives can also be used as indicators of success or failure to reach the goal. And for the plan implementation, evaluation, and termination or continuation. Stay tuned in the next video. And that's it. Thanks for watching. For more social work updates, please watch and like the video, hit the bell and subscribe to my YouTube channel.